Okay, let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Cristiana Gini, and this is the kickoff of the LinkedIn Live. I'm going to be sharing ideas, approaches, and knowledge on soft skills and how to use them effectively to grow humane corporate cultures. So let's start then. I have chosen the first subject of conflict. I have noticed the companies that I'm visiting that people believe that conflict is something that shouldn't happen and it's something negative and something that is always bad. So today we're going to change that. Firstly, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm Cristiana Gini. I started this process of personal growth in 2008 as a child coach. Then I developed in parenting and then, of course, individual life coaching. And in this moment, I'm visiting a lot of companies doing soft skills because parenting and leadership have very similar lines. I have a deep love and passion in understanding how humans work, and I'm truly committed to transforming homes and workplaces. So let's start with conflict. When you hear the word conflict, what happens in your mind or in your body? Most of the people I ask this question, like 85% of the people will say that it's something negative. So, what would happen if we viewed conflict not as something to avoid, but as an opportunity for growth? Firstly, let's understand something. What shapes our perception of a situation is the story we have in our mind. For example, if we were raised in a family that was mostly fights and shouting and a lot of conflict, then it's normal whenever we have conflict in front of us or around us to feel frozen, to feel more anxious, and of course, consider that to be a negative thing. But if we were raised in a house where people could actually communicate and get to results and see conflict as a feedback, then when I am in a conflict, I will feel safer. I will feel more contained being in such a situation. So, what shapes our perception is what we have experienced previously from young age until today. A person with a wounded self image will be intimidated by conflict. They will be thinking, like, they're doing something to me. They have that mindset. They're more aggressive. Sometimes they close up and they cannot see the other person's perspective. They cannot set boundaries and they have a lot of trouble confronting and standing up for what they believe. So, conflict will always be an issue if we do not understand ourselves first. The more we know about automatic behaviors, the more we understand the reason behind people interactions. The more we recognize the patterns, the more present we will be. What we need is actually to either journal or work with a professional to understand the patterns, to understand what is the thought process or the emotions I have on my body every time I face a conflict or I'm within a conflict. It's very, very important to understand the story because we recreate the story with different actors. These actors are sometimes our family, then it goes to the workplace. And if I have the victim mindset, then I will be victimized in family and in the workplace. So we need to heal this story. We need to heal our self image. So we step out of that pattern. And how do we do that? We become a helicopter. We come out of ourselves and we see the situation from above. Our ability to solve the problem depends largely on our ability to take a step back from the situation. So we want to see this from a top view, like a helicopter, to understand what is actually happening. What is the other person thinking? What is the motive of the other person? How I'm thinking, and what is my motive in solving this? Well, most of the times we're seeking to blame instead of understanding. So we often tend to think that the problem comes from the other person. It's much easier, isn't it? So before moving forward, let's see what are the benefits of conflict, because today our aim is to change the perspective about it. First of all, conflict means that there's something that is misaligned, is not working well. So by understanding and accepting conflict as a positive thing, we boost collaboration because it helps clarify the roles. the priorities and deepen these relationships. Sometimes you'll see that through our personal and also the professional conflicts, we have the tendency to understand more ourselves, to understand more the other people. So it sparks self growth and we build stronger bonds because we have overcome what was the block within us or within the other person, right? And also, conflict prevents stagnation. So you see, conflict is not that bad. Okay, so let's move forward now and see what type of conflict is it. Because we said we love conflict, we want conflict to happen because it makes relationships stronger and the environment better if we use conflict as a positive thing. We have three types of conflict. Is the task conflict, the relational conflict, and the systemic conflict. Let's see what each one is. Task conflict is when the disagreements are about how we work, how this job should be done, the approach, the strategy, the processes. So, as an example, is a dispute over prioritizing the speed vs quality in a project. The second one is relational conflict. So, this is about us, the person. It's personal clashes, emotional tension, or communication breakdowns. As an example, is two employees clashing due to different communication styles, due to different values or different beliefs. And then we have the systemic conflict, which is rooted in organizational structures, systems, or policies. As an example, is unfair shift scheduling that causes repeated team frustration. So why am I saying all this? Why do we need the type of conflict? Because we cannot resolve conflict if we don't know what the root is. So it's the root, the task, procedures, is how the work is done. Is it personal or is it a systemic conflict? It's something that has to do with the structures and systems that are not in place. So when you understand which type of conflict it is, then it's much easier to approach it and get to the better result for everybody. Find the solutions, the system to resolve. How to approach each one? For task conflict, we encourage open dialogue. We focus on the issue and not the person because it's not it's not about the person. And we use collaborative problem solving, which means we focus on the task, how to get the task going and what it's missing now to be successful in carrying out this task. If it's a relational conflict, let's say that two of the employees have a relational conflict, it's between them as people, then we need to approach with empathy to understand how each one is thinking and facilitate, of course, open communication. Then bring in mediation if needed. We can be the mediation as well if the conflict does not involve us. And then in the end, if there is a systemic conflict, we identify the root causes. What systems are missing? What procedures are missing? Maybe what some rules that are missing, and adjust these processes or policies accordingly so we stop having the same conflict over and over again. So it is vital to understand what is the root of the conflict so we can solve it. And conflicts don't just get solved with time or luck. They are resolved by intentional actions and shift in the mindset, in the culture of the company. So for you to understand this better, I would invite you to bring a person in your mind that you usually have conflict with, or actually take two people in your workspace that have conflict with each other. Write it down. What is the reason they have conflict? What is the view of each one of the people? And then just sit there and understand which type of conflict it is. And accordingly, you approach for finding the solution. Is it task related? Is the way that they do the job that needs to be adjusted? Is it personal? Do we need to understand better their values, their needs, so they can collaborate better? Or it's the policies. It's the structures, it's the strategy that we need to change. Having this in mind and taking in consideration that conflict is positive. If there wasn't conflict, there wouldn't be growth. So let's approach conflict differently. And I would love to hear in the comments what are your thoughts and what else would you like to know about conflict? In the next slide, we will talk about childhood and how it affects the way we approach conflict in a deeper level so we understand the way our mind works and the emotions that affect the way that we handle the situations. Until then, take care of yourself and I will see you soon. Bye.
Okay, let's go.